to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you, as I love to do every weekday over the national airways of ESPN Radio and ESPN News, 250-plus markets across the United States of America. Check your AM/FM listing nearest you, plus ESPN Radio on Sirius XM, Channel 80, plus ESPN Radio simulcast over the live national television airways of ESPN News. Number to call up, as always, is 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. The Stephen A. Smith Show is being brought to you by mycomputercareer.edu. Training for a better life. Time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Whole lot of stuff to get into as this show progresses today. First order of business is the San Francisco 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens going up against one another, some would say. I don't believe that's the first order of business. I think the first order of business is the blasphemous or the blasphemy that is being circulated and disseminated throughout the football world about six-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady. Obviously, when you look at the Houston Texans, they beat up on the New England Patriots last night. You could call it garbage time. You could call it whatever you want. The score clearly wasn't as close as it was as it may indicate per se. The Houston Texans ended up winning. I think it was about a score of 28-22. You look at what transpired yesterday in Houston, Texas, 28-22. Courtesy of Deshaun Watson and the crew doing what they do. Bill O'Brien, former assistant under Bill Belichick, his first victory over Bill Belichick. When you look at the Houston Texans right now, you have to say to yourself, this is a team that you got to watch out for. They're 8-4 on the year. Okay? They would be the number 3 seed in the postseason right now if the players were to begin, because you got them. You got the Ravens, obviously, as the number 1 seed now that New England lost. There's a lot of stuff to get into here. First order of business to get into. I think we need to be careful about writing Tom Brady's epitaph. The numbers doesn't tell the whole story. 24, 47, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns, an interception. It doesn't tell the whole story about Tom Brady. We all know that. But here's what I'm working with. Tom Brady doesn't have anything to work with. You got a whole bunch of people that want to accuse everybody of not watching for actually what's transpiring on the football field because they're seeing Tom Brady throw balls into the dirt. They're seeing him skip passes. The man can't find anybody open. And half the time, he's prioritizing not turning the ball over instead of getting it to a receiver because he doesn't have any faith that they're going to be able to do anything. And because of that reality, he's stuck. Because Bill Belichick and, dare I say, my buddy Robert Kraft have not given him much to work with. The New England Patriots as an offense is garbage right now. Garbage. They're not impressive at all. Defense on the field too long, too many times, being worn down. And if you're a quarterback that has any kind of mobility whatsoever, a la Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson now, it's no wonder those are the 2 losses that they have on this season. They give him 37 to Lamar Jackson. They give him 28 to Deshaun Watson. One could argue it could have easily been worse because you don't have much of an offense. And because you don't have an offense and you have no passing attack whatsoever, you're going a bunch of 3-and-outs. You can't move the chains. The defense has to come on the field and find a way to come to the rescue all the damn time. And as a result of that, you find yourself in a situation where you just ain't going to be able to get it done. Since the New England Patriots trolloped the Jets 33-0 about 5 weeks ago, they can't score to save their lives. Tom Brady completing 60% of his passes would be a miracle because he hasn't done it in 4 of the last 5 games. He hasn't even completed more than 55% of his passes in 4 of the last 5 games. But I'm here to tell you right now, if you're watching what's going on, what does this man have to work with? I mean, is somebody going to say something? Yes, Julian Edelman is still there. He had 6 receptions for 106 yards. Who the hell is Jacoby Myers? I didn't say Jacoby and Myers. I said Jacoby Myers. Who is that? Matt Lacossi? A tight end? Rookie? Benjamin Watson, ain't he 38 years old? Mohamed Sanu, Philip Dorsett, clearly beyond their prime. N'Keal Harry, your first-round pick as a rookie. 1 target, no receptions, 0 yards. What is Tom Brady supposed to do? He's 42 years old. He's clearly beyond his prime, and we get all of that. But don't tell me if you gave the brother time and receivers had an ability to get open and create separation that he couldn't fling the football at them. What is he supposed to do? This notion that, you know what, he just stinks and he's no longer that time. No, he is no longer that Tom Brady. I get that. We're not blind. And we're not surprised because he's 42 years old. But if you want to insult the man and you want to sit up there and say he's done, could you at least have the decency to look at the receivers that he's working with? There is no Rob Gronkowski. There is no Josh Gordon. There is no Antonio Brown. Randy Moss ain't coming to walk through that door no more. I didn't even bring up guys like Troy Brown for crying out loud. I mean, you got to be kidding me. What does he have to work with? Which brings me to a very, very unpleasant conversation. My producer didn't know I was going to bring this up. Not that he needed to, because it's not like I need permission to say what the hell I want to say. But I need to say this, and it's incredibly important. I think the Patriots need to get Antonio Brown back in the Patriots uniform. Somebody's got to say it. I'm going to say it. Patriots need to go back and get Antonio Brown. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to be perfectly clear with what I'm about to say. John, you got the tape rolling because I don't want anybody misconstrued. JC, you got the tape rolling. I don't want anybody misquoting me. I don't mind at all being held accountable for what I say and what I mean. It's when people purposely misconstrue what I'm saying that pisses me off. So let me get this out of the way. If Antonio Brown is guilty of the sexual assault allegations that have been levied against him, he should be in jail. At the very least, banned from football. At least for the rest of this season and beyond, probably. If the NFL were to find a scintilla of truth to the allegations that have been levied against him, he shouldn't be allowed back in the league, period. Period. But absent of that, and strictly focusing on the sport of football, if the NFL is going to let him back in and they ain't going to have him on that commissioner's exempt list, and he's going to be allowed to play football again, I think the Patriots should bring Antonio Brown back. Not for Antonio Brown, for Tom Brady. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask y'all a simple question. And John, look at me when I'm talking to, because nobody's crueler than you. I mean, nobody cares less than John about people's feelings. Okay? Let's just call it what it is. This is my man, my brother, my producer extraordinaire, Jonathan Winthrop, proud new papa. You know, was just on leave for a while, him and his wonderful, lovely wife. You know, had a child, and congratulations to them. Jonathan's been out of work the last couple of weeks. He's back. Meaner than ever before. You know, if you ain't his family or loved one, hell with you. John is as pragmatic as they come. Look at me when I'm talking to you, John. Don't hide behind the computer. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you. Show your face so I can see you. Okay, don't hide. This is the Jonathan Winthrop I know and love. You need an honest answer. You don't give a damn. Here's the reality. Even to you notorious haters out there, can't one concede that Tom Brady deserves something of our sympathy? 42 years old, clearly beyond his prime, but as far as I'm concerned, can still play if you give him some pieces. Could you give him something? If you're Robert Kraft, if you're Bill Belichick, you can't give him something? That's what this really comes down to, you know. Give him something. To send him out there with a bunch of receivers that can't get open, can't create separation, with a running game that can't possibly shine, devoid of those weapons on the outside, with a tight end or a slew of tight ends that are little to no factor at all. Because they were last in the league coming into the game in receptions from the tight end position after being a top for so many years with Rob Gronkowski around. Knowing that he's 42 years of age. Can you give him something? I've never seen Tom Brady hold on to the ball this long in my life. Why? Because he's waiting for guys to get open. They can't. As a result, statistically, he's looking very bad. As a result, he's getting popped upside the head and in the back. Can somebody help him? Now, I understand Mr. Kraft's position. I know the man personally. I have an incredible level of affection for this man. We've gotten to know each other over the years. I think the New England Patriots are truly America's team, not the Dallas Cowboys. America is the greatest country on God's green earth. We personify winning and success and being number one. There is nothing about that should be synonymous with the Cowboys, but I digress. When you look at the New England Patriots, at some point in time, it can't be about, don't get me wrong, not legal issues, because legal issues usurp everything. But barring legal issues, it can't be about Antonio Brown being a headache, Antonio Brown being classless and stupid. It can't be about that. If Tom Brady wants him and his teammates want him, and they say for the week or two he was around them, he was great, and they'd love to have him back. And collectively, they go to Bill Belichick begging for this man, and Bill Belichick goes to Robert Kraft, and he's begging for this man. Isn't Tom Brady's well-being worth that? As much of a headache as it may be, as much as it may compromise, and I'm not saying it does by any stretch of the imagination, but for those that would make that argument that it would compromise what Mr. Kraft wants to do, all I'm saying to you is this. Is Tom Brady not worth that? For anywhere from 6 to 9 weeks? Because that's all you talk about having Antonio Brown for. You got 5 games left in the regular season. 4, really. Over 5 weeks. You got 4 games left in the regular season, and then you got the postseason. And that's another 2. Because you're going to have a top 2 seed. And then after that, if you're lucky enough, you're in the Super Bowl. That's 7 weeks. Now, I think the Ravens are going to the Super Bowl, me personally. But if you want to give the Patriots a chance, you need Antonio Brown. And what I would submit to everybody else is that it ain't about Antonio Brown with his stupid tweet talking about all I want for Christmas. That song, playing it on Twitter, you know, with him catching a touchdown pass for the New England Patriots earlier this year. I'm saying to you that this man could be the savior that Tom Brady needs. Is Tom Brady not worth that? Does not Tom Brady deserve that? Well, what he's done for the organization. That's my argument. Has nothing to do with Antonio Brown other than his skill set. I know he's been a knucklehead. I know he's been a headache. I know he doesn't deserve this chance. But does Tom Brady deserve it? We all know the answer to that question. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. I'm telling you right now, Tom Brady needs all the help he can get, and he's certainly going to need it because we're sleeping on Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs because offensively they're juggernauts, but defensively the defense has gotten better. And oh, by the way, with New England losing to Houston last night on Sunday Night Football, The number 1 seed in the AFC now belongs to the Baltimore Ravens, led by Lamar Jackson, who's the leading candidate for league MVP honors. Russell Wilson is still in the race, yes. Who plays on Monday Night Football tonight. Looking forward to talking to Boogie McFarland about that matchup between the Seahawks and the Vikings on Monday Night Football on ESPN tonight. But Lamar Jackson right now is the leading candidate for league MVP honors. Lamar Jackson is that dude. And I'm here to tell you something right now. I was thoroughly impressed with him yesterday. But I was also impressed with the 49ers. First things first. You Lamar Jackson, this man's got 977 yards rushing. He's the leading rusher for the number 1 rushing attack in all of football in the Baltimore Ravens, which obviously is number 1 because of him. As a result, they've got a top 2 offense in the National Football League because of him. And yesterday, inclement weather, rain, snow, sleet, with a San Francisco 49ers defense that is clearly elite, that I thought did a relatively decent job containing him considering the circumstances. Look at that and then look at how he was still able to engage in ball control, moving the chains, resting his defense, and ultimately propelling the Baltimore Ravens to victory 20-17 on a field goal as time expired to win the game. I think he juked DeJuan Williams on that call, on that move. Shook him out his boots. Lamar Jackson is the real deal. He deserves our respect, and he has it. But the San Francisco 49ers are nothing to sneeze at. I would not be mad at all, ladies and gentlemen, if this was the rematch in the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be mad at all. Let me tell you something right now. When you look at the San Francisco 49ers, that defense came in there. They flew across the country, and to them, it was a 10 a.m. game because that's the biological clock they were on. It was a 10 a.m. game. They showed up. They defended. They helped neutralize Lamar Jackson to some degree. Still ran over 100 yards, but only threw for like 105 yards. When you look at what he brought to the table, what he had been bringing to the table, he dropped 30 on Seattle, dropped 37 on New England, dropped 49 on Cincinnati. Not that that's saying much, unless you're the Jets. Story for another minute. When you look at what they've been bringing to the table, dropped 45 on the Rams. When you look at what Lamar Jackson and that offense has been bringing to the table, you can't say enough about the defensive effort that San Francisco 49ers put forth. Now, again, this is inclement weather. So as a result of that, your running game was supposed to be compromised because Brady was out, but look at what Mostert did. Look at what he did. What did he rush for? He rushed for 146 yards on 19 carries. They rushed for 174 yards, averaging 6 yards a carry on the afternoon. You still got Sanders who can play. This kid, Deebo Samuels, is a baller. Kittle is unquestionably the second best tight end in football. Might be the best behind Travis Kelce. Second best behind Travis Kelce, giving Travis Kelce a run for his money to being the best. When I think about that and the play calling of Kyle Shanahan, to me, the only question mark is porn star Jimmy Garoppolo. And porn star is not a negative name, by the way. All I'm saying to you is that Jimmy Garoppolo, who passed for 165 yards, 15-21, managing the game, he can do that. They're 18-4 with him as a starter. Any team he's played for, New England and San Fran. I got to give credit where credit is due. Even though that catch, that touchdown by Samuel seemed to be lucky on Jimmy Garoppolo's part. More of a skill play by Samuel. But I'm just telling you, porn star Jimmy's the question mark. Nothing else. Not their defensive line, not their secondary, not the coaching on the defensive side of the ball, not the play calling on the offensive side of the ball, not their running game, and not their pass catchers. Jimmy Garoppolo's the question mark. But wouldn't surprise me at all if this were a rematch of the Super Bowl. Although I will say this, I don't think San Francisco will go to Seattle and win the NFC West crown. I think they better hope Seattle loses tonight, or they better hope they win the division outright, NFC West. Have home field advantage. They don't need to go to Lambeau Field, and they don't need to go to Seattle. Although, in inclement weather conditions, a running game and a defense can win for you. I like San Francisco a lot. I'm sold. on everything but Jimmy Garoppolo right now. Even though I know he can play, he's no scrub. He's worth the $72 million. But I've still got question marks about him. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. By the way, let me take a moment to give some love to my brother, the head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin. Ladies and gentlemen, can you think of a better job that has been done? As much as I love the job that Kyle Shanahan has done this year, when I think about Mike Tomlin, without Big Ben Roethlisberger, without Le'Veon Bell, who's now a New York Jet, without Antonio Brown, who's now exiled, without Juju Smith-Schuster, his replacement, who's out with concussion and all of this stuff, without James Conner, Le'Veon Bell's replacement, who's also injured, with cats like James Washington, Lord knows who else they had on their offense, the Pittsburgh Steelers have won 6 of 7 after a 1-4 start. They are 7-5 on the season. They are the 6th. The players would have begun the day they'd be in as the last seed, the 6th seed in the AFC. There's nobody doing a better job than Mike Tomlin right now. Nobody. Oh, by the way, did I forget to mention the 4th-string quarterback? Don't give me 3rd string. That kid, Josh Dobbs, was traded to Jacksonville at the start of the season after losing out for some inexplicable reason to Mason Rudolph for the backup spot to Roethlisberger. So Roethlisberger's out. Mason Rudolph gets benched. Devlin Hodges comes in as a 4th string and beats the Cleveland Browns. Mike Tomlin's doing a hell of a job. Freddie Kitchens needs to go back to being a coordinator. He's not an executive, not yet. That's not to say he won't be someday, but he's not there yet. And Baker Mayfield, here's all y'all need to know. In October, he had more commercials than touchdown passes. As of yesterday's loss, he's got more commercials than wins. He's got 5 wins on the season. He's got 6 different commercials with Progressive. I would know. They sponsor the show. The difference is they win here. Baker Mayfield, he's got to get to that point. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. You are listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. That was Straight Talk Wireless, everything for less, only at Walmart. By the way, worried about finding the perfect gift this holiday? We've got you covered, because when you give the gift of Peloton, you're giving a gift they're guaranteed to love. And there's no better time than now, because Peloton's best offer of the year is here. For a limited time only, get the Works accessories free when